this is John. Welcome to Think Business Live. Looking forward to having Doug and Allie Cohen on the show today. Guys, it's great to see you as always. I know you've been on the show before. Detroit Jerky LLC. I'm excited to talk about this because this is a company that somebody started, you guys bought, you took it over. And so I think it's a great topic, especially today. I think a lot of people are, they consider themselves entrepreneurs. They may not want to start something, but maybe they want to buy something and grow it from there. And so I think that's great. And so my first question as we kind of dive in is, what's the biggest lesson you've learned about taking over somebody else's company that they started?
I have an answer.
Okay, you go, and then I can maybe riff off of yours.
Well, I'd say it's twofold. Number one, make sure you're a fan of the product already. Like make sure it's a business that you would want to engage with and do business with. Number one. And number two, enter into it with transparency and the best intentions.
Yeah.
No shenanigans. And if you set the example and set the stage for a really good relationship and feel good about the people that you're entering into this transaction with, it really kind of sets the stage for a smooth transition and being able, because the people who sold it to us wanted to feel good about who they were selling it to and somebody who would be good caretakers of the brand. And because we demonstrated that, they were very helpful to us in that transition and getting it back up and running again. So I would say those are two really critical.
That's good. Those are good. Allie, how about you? Anything to add?
So no, that was actually perfect. And
all right, good.
Distinct. That was good.
Oh, thanks.
All right, good. So, you're talking about, entering into businesses, which, by the way, I agree with you. You gotta be passionate and love the products. Otherwise you can't put your heart and soul into it. Right. But I do have a question, as far as kind of, in every business, it has its stuck points. And so, where were they stuck where you can look at the business and, get it unstuck in different ways?
That's an easy one. Yeah.
Right,
So where they got stuck, they started the business. They didn't really, I don't think, intend to have it grow to the point that it grew to. And I think it got too big for them and they got burnt out. They had little kids at home that they had to still take care of and all those other things. And it just became too big for them to take care of. So where we came in, our kids are grown and relatively flown. And we had the manpower, and our son and business partner just graduated the year before from college and was looking for something to do. So it was just a natural fit. So we have the extra manpower to be able to take it and grow. Yeah. So that's
right.
Yeah. That was where they got stuck, was bandwidth. I think they were just having a tough time getting it to the point and seeing how they could get it to the point kind of where it needed to be without sacrificing their time and their day jobs and their young kids and all of that. So
I mean, it's they've got a product that seems like it's in such high demand, and it's and when it goes to scale, you either got to rise to the occasion, stay exactly where you are, or sell to somebody that can keep the name alive. Let me ask you a question though. So now it's the two of you. You two are married. So the two of you are married and your son is your business partner. So I want to do a mini business course on how the 3 steps to running a family business. And so, with different generations too. So what's step 1?
Step 1 is you need to have an outline. The different roles need to be clearly defined. So what Doug does, I don't do. What I do, Doug doesn't do. And what Tony, our son, does, well, now we're kind of picking up the slack because he's on a little adventure this summer. But so I'm picking up where Tony has left off. So I'm kind of doing my job and Tony's job, and Doug's doing his job and part of my job. So I feel like if the roles are clearly defined, that's when everything will kind of fall neatly into place.
It's a lesson that we learned in our photography studio that we still have, Frameable Faces, because we've been doing this together with a family business, working together for a long time. And Allie's the photographer and handles that part of it, and I'm the marketer and handle the social media and the sales part of it. So we've always had kind of separate defined roles, even though there's a lot of overlap and we work together on a lot of it, but we've kind of applied that principle to this business as well, to Allie's point. Yeah. So
All right, good. So I agree with you. Define the roles. What's number 2?
Number 2.
I feel like stick to them.
Well,
I mean, it becomes, I feel like it can be really easy to kind of, well, you're not doing it the way that I think you should be doing it. And I'm going to overstep.
Yeah.
Well, it's not. Yeah. And the other thing is I think, and this might sound kind of silly to say, but like your spouse, like your family, like you need to. And what I mean by that is, there's a lot of people that their family relationships and marriages and families. There's different ways to define what is functional and what is a happy or successful marriage for some people. And for some people, it's a definite separation of roles throughout the day. Like, somebody goes off to work here, somebody goes off to work there, and they're not together all day. And a lot of couples will say to us, hey, I couldn't work with my spouse. I'd kill him, kind of thing. Well, for us, we don't mind. We enjoy being around each other all the time, and it's not really an issue. And that doesn't mean that the people who couldn't do that all day have bad marriages. I think you just need to understand kind of what your relationship is and can it, function and withstand that together time and being involved in everything you do on the business side and the personal side.
Yeah, that's a good thing to say. Let me ask you a question. Number 3, how do you communicate with each other when you disagree in a family business so that when you do go home and have dinner, you can leave business, at the office?
Yeah.
Well, so if I may, I would say that's the part when it comes to, because the multi-generational piece is new for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We haven't had one of our kids in the business with us before, and now we do. And that piece of it is, I guess, the step of the 3 that we have not completely mastered yet. It's a work in progress. And our son Tony moved home after he graduated just last year. And so, having to manage that and communicate at home, and then because it's tricky. We don't have a great answer for that yet. I mean, we just try to do it with,
respect,
and try to be as communicative as possible. But there's very steep learning curve for Tony in general, because this is his first, kind of career job. He just graduated from college, so there's a lot for him to learn. So we're figuring a lot of that out as we drink from a fire hose, trying to figure all this out and still running 2 businesses. So it's that part's been,
I think adding another generation in with different ideas, your company, many companies that I talk to, that I work with, I think one of the things that's so important is kind of that weekly team meeting that you don't put aside. You just always have it, and everything is very specific and measurable. The goals are set, and everybody's got their action plan with high levels of accountability.
Mm-hmm.
I find that's the key, especially with families. A whole high level of accountability to make sure things get done. All right, that's great. So, all right, so why beef jerky? Why? What was the Detroit jerky?
It's vegan.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay,
Surprise!
so wait, I did not know it was vegan. All right, so wait, so okay, so tell me about the vegan. So tell me about why Detroit jerky vegan.
Okay, so that's a me thing. So way back when, like 3 years ago, the previous owners started the company and they put out a message in one of the Facebook groups and asked for taste testers. I'll taste test it. Sure, send me a sample. So they sent me this one, Michigan Cherry Bomb. Tasted it, loved it. Doug's a plant-based eater. vegetarian / pescatarian. So I'm always looking for different ways. And when I did used to eat meat, I liked jerky.
Yeah.
So I tried it, I loved it, and became a fan of the product. So when the Scott and Katie Eatman, who were the previous owners, when they posted that they made the difficult decision to close down the business, I was naturally bummed out.
Yeah.
And fast forward, several months, it's a longer story, but I ended up reaching out to Scott and asking him if they wanted a partner to kind of help the business stay in business.
Yeah.
And he said, no, we do not want partners, but we would be willing to sell it.
Yeah.
So Doug and I had, 12 hours in the car. We were driving to New York. And I said to him, like, maybe we should consider this. So we went to New York, had a big case of jerky in the car for road snacks because it's perfect. Came back, met with Scott and Katie, really liked them. They apparently really liked us. And the following week, we were the new owners of Detroit Jerky.
Right.
So that's how it happened.
And what really kind of led us to it was just the pursuit of plant-based food. Like, plant-based eater, and this was one we were fans of. So that's how it just kind of fell into our lap. We weren't really, we didn't decide one day that we were going to go out and find a business to buy. It just kind of happened.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like the business found you, and
it kind of did.
Little universal divine, intervention. And
yes.
But do you believe everything happens for a reason?
I do 100%. That's like my whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So what was, why do you think the stars aligned for this? What was the impetus of it?
Doug and I have worked really, really hard at growing the photography studio that we have owned for now 16 years.
Yeah.
And, it's growing. It's still growing. We're very happy here. And I think, without going into all this major backstory, between the two of us and Tony was trying to figure out what he wanted to do. And this kind of just fell into our laps. I
just think, we worked hard for a long time, and we've always tried to do it the right way. And I think things, in multiple aspects are maybe starting to kind of fall into place for us. I don't want to jinx it, but that's kind of the divine thing. Like, we've earned some of the good things that are finally starting to come our way. We'd like to think. I mean, we've put our heart and soul into a lot of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think a lot of times, if you look at kind of universal laws, you can't rush them, right? We can drive, we can do things work as hard as we want, but sometimes things just are meant to happen when they're supposed to happen. And
totally.
And so it sounds like you think about life that way. I think about life that way, where we're supposed to be for, a reason we may or may not know. And so in that spirit, how did you know? How did you intuitively know that this was the right addition to the family portfolio?
That's a really good question. I feel like it's just,
I think, the process of kind of how it happened, the phone call to Scott, the meeting that we had with them here at the studio, the way we just hit it off, the way there was really not much of when I tell people the story without getting into all the detail, when I tell people kind of the story of the negotiation that took place, there was barely a negotiation. It was so easy, just felt so natural. We clicked with them. We loved the product. And then when we kind of woke up one day and said, wow, Detroit Jerky is ours now.
Yeah,
we have a business, and it was a product that we loved, and they were so helpful. I don't know, just everything just seemed
clicked.
Yeah. The way it just kind of
just clicked. I love it.
Fell into place.
Yeah. When you know. Let me ask you a question. In any family business, when you're making these types of decisions, there's always teams of mentors that are around you. Some will give you really good advice. Some will not give you advice. Some people who love you will give you the wrong advice because they don't want you to make a mistake. So how did you know when deciding to buy a second business for the family business, the family portfolio, that what mentors to listen to and what mentors not to listen to? I remember when I started an internet company with my brother and a buddy out of college, and we sold it 2 years after. And we actually hired a CFO that recommend that we do not sell the company. That would be the biggest mistake of our lives. We sold it, and it was a great thing for our lives, but because we knew the nuances that they weren't picking up, right? We knew the nuances, and we knew in our gut, regardless of what he said. So how did you know who to listen to and who not to listen to?
Well, I think we already knew because this wasn't our first rodeo.
Right.
I mean, the fact that we've already been, entrepreneurial and have already owned our own business, that we started, a little bit like we didn't start a business fresh out of college or even after our first job. We started this business after, our second or third jobs. And we went through a lot of that when we started Frameable Faces. So I think at this point, we kind of already know who we can go to and who maybe we shouldn't go to.
But did anybody tell you not to do it?
Yes.
And so how did you know not to listen to them?
So the person that said, you guys shouldn't limit yourself to vegan jerky. Don't do that. You're limiting yourself. That person is
right. They didn't say don't buy the business. They just said, but they were like, but don't just do a vegan.
Right. Who's going to do that? Well, there's a lot of people that will do that. And it's kind of like if you're not in that community, you don't really know.
Yeah.
So as long as you're surrounding yourself with like-minded people, then you will know that, okay, yes, I do think that this is a very viable option. I'm not going to do any sort of meat because I don't believe in that. So I'm not going to do it. And so I knew.
And that advice did not come from, somebody who hasn't, that advice did not come from somebody who had been giving us sage advice all along. The people who gave us sage advice all along are still giving us sage advice.
Yeah. You know your lane, you know who to reach out to. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Perfect. All right. Let's do a quick speed round. A book, a TED Talk, or an article that's had had big impact on you.
So this was a you, and if you don't say what I think that you're going to say.
A book or a TED Talk. Well, you know what? I go back to Word of Mouth Marketing by Andy Cernovitz, which was the first one I read.
Yeah.
16 years ago. And so many of those principles, even though the tools have changed and digital marketing has come a long way, the basic principles of taking care of your clients and storytelling around your brand are still the things that I've used every day with Frameable Faces, and they apply now.
Speed round.
Sorry. Oh yeah.
Speed, right? It's speed. Best piece of wisdom you've ever received.
Best piece of wisdom?
Yeah.
Follow your heart.
Finish this sentence. One thing everybody should do if they're thinking about buying a business and they know they want to do it, but something's holding them back. The one thing they should do is
YOLO.
I was going to say that. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Put yourself in a position where you have to make it happen, and you will make it happen if you have the wherewithal to make things happen.
Failure is not an option.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Tell everybody where they can connect with you, buy your product, learn about your business, and all that other great stuff.
So the website is DetroitJerkyLLC.com. We are on Facebook. We're on LinkedIn. We are on Instagram. Where else are we?
We have a YouTube channel that we haven't put a ton into yet, but we're LinkedIn. What did you say?
Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram.
Instagram, yeah, those are the main ones. We have a blog on the website. We have a store locator on the website, so you can find up-to-date maps and locations of where you can get your jerky. And we also appear at multiple events around town. We're actually going to be at Vegan Fest on this Saturday at Detroit A Bloom. in Detroit. But yeah, we're in a lot of different markets around the state as well as other states. So if you know a store by you that you think should carry Detroit Jerky, let us know.
All right. I love it. I always love talking to you guys. It's always good to see you both. And I love the selfless promotion. It's great. I'm a business coach. I work with people around the globe who are successful and stuck. I work with them to get them unstuck. And this podcast, what I love about it is I get to have guests on like you who assist in my mission of getting people unstuck. I like to extract at least one thing from the many things that you shared that were great. But Think Community, one of the things that was shared today by Doug and Allie is that, they were able to make a decision because this wasn't their first time at the rodeo. And I think it showcases that, nothing is overnight. Sometimes you do things. I'm not suggesting this happened to you, but sometimes you do things and they fail and they're just expensive lessons. And you just got to keep on going. And when everything's in alignment, really good things fall into your lap. And the lessons along the way help you accelerate and multiply, the business that is now, in this case, in your guys' lap. So congratulations on taking over the business. Think Community, you can reach out and buy the product at Detroit Jerky LLC. And if you want to talk about any business coaching, you can reach me at johndwoskin.com. Guys, always great to see you. All the best to you and your families and your family. It's great. Stay on for just a second. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.